Well, we have Demonic Pact and no black mana, so I feel obligated to keep. I don't know whether I'm supposed to lead on Jwari Disruption or Irrigated Farmland here. In pretty much both cases, I'm never likely to use the ability of the other one. I guess Irrigated Farmland might be better because I have check lands that care about the land typings in play. That might be relevant. Can't say I'm excited about my opponent having a Sprite Dragon, but I also can't say that I'm excited about possibly holding up Fateful Absence to interact with that either. I'm probably going to have to interact with that lest I die. Eddie Cerisium. Have you seen Andrew Cuneo's deck list? He's been working on this deck for a really long time. I have not. What kind of deck is that? There's the Faithless Looting, triggering Dragon's Rage Channeler. Starting to put counters on Sprite Dragon. The opponent can't get a Phoenix this turn because they've already used one of their mana on the Dragon's Rage Channeler. They keep a card on top with Dragon's Rage Channeler instead of putting it in the graveyard. We dig that. They end up putting a Phoenix in the graveyard. I wonder what that means they kept. Huh. They were willing to throw away an Unholy Heat. Weird. Okay. Shark Typhoon is an odd thing to have gotten a bunch of, but I think I still have to shock here to cycle Shark Typhoons to try to draw into lands. Traumatized by Demonic Pact. Today was the first day I lost Demonic Pact plus Harmless Offering. Well, I'm happy to hear it. I really want to build a Harmless Offering list that functions. Oh, cool. They immediately hit the land. But I have not yet found a decent mix of tutors that would actually allow it. So, opt into Expressive Iteration. Alright, so they're getting back their Phoenix. Harsh. I don't think there's a world in which I can counter this Consider. I kind of need the land drop from Shark Typhoon. Alright, well, Demonic Pact is going to be too slow. Teferi's also probably going to be too slow. I think my opponent has too many resources at this point. I kind of needed to hit Rest in Peace this turn. I'm not seeing how we get out of this one. Not with this hand, at least. I think I probably just block here. If the opponent messes with their graveyard in a way that accidentally doesn't give them Delirium for a split second and the Dragon's Rage Channeler dies, I think that makes it a better block than the Arclight Phoenix. Maybe I was supposed to cycle a second Shark Typhoon to block the Arclight Phoenix there, hoping to hit a board wipe as, like, my out. Failed. Okay. Okay, then I think what I'm doing is playing this Jwari Disruption, hoping my opponent can't do anything, which is unlikely considering that for some reason they passed without using any of their mana. Then I double block with Shark Typhoon and hit Farewell off the top. I think that's my out here. Okay, that hurts. It's not the end of the game, because I can still block 1 card and go down to 3. It's just pretty bad is all. Sprite Dragon's also pretty bad, but not yet the end of the world. Expressive Iteration's only bad in the sense that it kills me most of the time. Our opponent could fail to find a 1-drop. Okay, well, I'm not technically dead yet. I am now dead. We do still have an out, which is Shark Typhoon cycling into March. And then I get to March to kill whatever I don't block with Shark Typhoon, which I'm assuming would either be Dragon's Rage Channeler or Sprite Dragon. And then natural draw step March. No, that doesn't work because I'm relying on Godless Shrine to be my land. So I can't go... Oh, no. I can go down to 3. I can't go below 3. Okay, yeah, that still works. Okay. It's sad because Shark Typhoon actually is a pretty good card to draw a lot of against Phoenix, but it is not what you actually want to be doing on your early turns. That means we die. Yeah, that's pretty brutal. Had we have drawn the lands necessary to play the Demonic Pact on 4, maybe there would have been a chance, but lots of shock lands are not helpful. Alright, so in this matchup I want the Angels and the Rest in Pieces. I don't particularly care about Fateful Absence, I want to say. Or Commit? Or Wrath? Maybe? I might actually sort of like Commit. Oh, I definitely like Mystical Dispute. I'm torn. I don't know how good board wipes are against Phoenix. The answer is usually not very. So I'm assuming that I'm supposed to get rid of those in the interest of stuff that's lower mana cost. Okay, we'll take a look at that YouTube list in between rounds. Take the play. I mean, this is all very good cards. The lack of lands is iffy, but Rest in Peace on 2 is not something that I can... Oh, I thought I fixed this. All the Storm Giants aren't. I'll have to do that. But Rest in Peace against Phoenix is not something I get to throw away. Okay. More lands is good, even if it doesn't give us Narset on 3, which would be ideal. Opponent shocks, and then passes, and then leaves me wondering what to do into 2 open mana. Shock and then pass is such a strange choice. Alright, we're just also going to shock and then pass. I want to hold up Divide by 0. Opt is fine. I would rather hold up Divide by 0 on Expressive Iteration, which I think is the most likely thing they could do on turn 3. It is somewhat telling that I'm not jamming Yorion into my hand here, but... well, retrieve socks. So I did just retrieve him probably 5 minutes ago. And then he ran away. Well, I guess more like 15 minutes ago, actually, right before the stream went live. Alright, yeah, we are willing to bounce the Stormwing entity, and then we are willing to play Narset, and then we are willing to downtick Narset to 3. And March is pseudo-tempting. I think I'm supposed to take Mystical Dispute, though. So there's a somewhat decent chance here that our opponent's just going to go land Phoenix, attack Narset, which might have been a reason to not downtick Narset there. Expressive Iteration, however, is not a concern. Looks like the biggest difference is that Andrew uses Jace's self-mill with Tainted Pact. Oh, okay. That's a totally different deck. Tainted Pact and Demonic Pact. We are definitely not a Tainted Pact list. Alright, well, that sort of worked. Now we have to try to do it on the draw. which is going to be much, 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 much harder. Remind me in like 15 minutes, and I'll go snag socks. Alright, I'm willing to keep this even though it doesn't do anything. What's the worst that could happen? Alright, opponent off to a rousing card disadvantage start. Ooh, okay. Farewell is a magic card. That's interesting. Presumably our opponent's going to try to turbo fill their graveyard to play Ox. Sprite Dragon doesn't help with that, though. Mystical Dispute. I do not mind getting to snipe some expressive iterations, though it looks like they don't have any. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Alright, I can't do anything about that for the time being. I wonder if I'm supposed to play Omen of the Sea in response to Dragon's Rage Channeler in case the last card in hand is a counterspell. I don't want them getting to mill a card with the Dragon's Rage Channeler trigger. I think I'm just supposed to bottom both of these in pursuit of a rest in peace as soon as possible for the Ox. Demonic Pact is interesting. Okay. I believe I'm not supposed to put Yorion in hand. Having Mystical Dispute up is too important here, I feel like. Okay. Well, my opponent's kind of just fizzling, which raises the question of whether I would rather play Demonic Pact here, and the answer to that I believe is no, or Wandering Emperor on their turn, and I believe the answer to that is probably yes. Demonic Pact is just so much weaker if they have a counterspell in hand than Wandering Emperor that I at least get to do on their turn. I don't hate getting a counterspell out of their hand here, because it does make it more likely that I resolve Farewell, which is probably going to win the game. 5 cards. Takes 9 cards in graveyard for Ox. Alright, I think I want to jam Demonic Pact now that we've hit our 6th land. I was debating leaving up Omen of the Sea instead, but I think this works. Narset is certainly something that I'm willing to Mystical Dispute, and now Farewell should win the game. We take some damage. We Mind Rot the opponent. We play our card. I believe I do get rid of this Demonic Pact just to play around my opponent top-decking a counterspell. Even though I have Yorion technically. I think it's just the safest option. I feel like in this position I'm so favored that... well, that's not a good card for them to have. But I feel like in this position that I'm so favored that I'm just not supposed to take the risk. I think I just hardcast Shark Typhoon here. Narset was possibly the single best top deck they could have hit, though. So that's going to make things awkward. Luckily, Omen of the Sea has Flash. And now that their Narset is at 1, the token we get off Shark Typhoon represents killing the Narset. If you like hardcasting Shark Typhoon, good news. This is the matchup where that is most relevant, most frequently. Alright, Phoenix in the yard. We'll see how that goes. Yorion into hand, Godless Shrine into play, turn into past. Sprite Dragon, I am more than happy with. If they go to attack with it, we get to just eat the Sprite Dragon for free because we have a flash spell that puts a 2/2 blocker into play. And then the opponent concedes. So, Demonic Pact was mostly just a Mind Rot that game, but that was only because we chose to have it be a Mind Rot. It could have been more. it could have stuck around to kill the Narset. It's possibly... I think that there are a lot of scenarios where Demonic Pact would have been very good in that position. It just wasn't necessary. Because in this position it was a win more. I don't think that makes it a bad card. I think that it's totally acceptable for Demonic Pact to be a card that we're willing to lose value on to exile early if that just is going to win the game. Alright, this isn't really any Demonic Pact-y stuff, but it is cards that I'm allowed to play. We have March of Otherworldly Light for Witch's Oven. Opponent's on black-red, which means... Does it mean black-red sacrifice? Or does that mean... I don't know a ton about new historic decks that have been popular since the new set. Cauldron Familiar, sure. I assume that means I'm supposed to get rid of Witch's Ovens now. I assume this deck is probably splashing green for Trail of Crumbs? Okay, yes. I haven't seen one with Strike at Rich yet, so I wasn't sure. Alrighty, and then we Portable Hole the other oven. And I freak out for a moment trying to discover whether I actually left up blue mana for Omen of the Sea, and thankfully I did not hose myself in this situation. Mayhem Devil, very well. Does that bring a cat back? I don't know. I'm gonna... Farewell seems like a pretty good Magic card, though, right? I mean, Portable Hole means I can't really farewell away artifacts, but getting to do Graveyard and Creatures sounds probably like something I'm supposed to do. I probably was actually supposed to keep that Jwari Disruption on top as well, come to think of it. But, oh well. Can I? Oh, you're right, I can, because artifacts comes before creatures. Neat! Good point. Oh, yeah, you're right, you're right. If Portable Hole had hit a creature, I could do that, but because this is an artifact, I can't. Unless I want to give them the Witch's Oven back. Which I probably don't want to do. I'm willing to take this damage. I don't need to downtick Wandering Emperor on Mayhem Devil because I'm probably about to cast Day of Judgment anyway. Which I think means that I'm just playing Wandering Emperor and then upticking, and then casting Day of Judgment. And then downticking. Actually, maybe I'm not even downticking because I don't want Wandering Emperor to die to Hive the Eye Tyrant. I might just be upticking Wandering Emperor again. Ooh. Okay. So they can kill Wandering Emperor here. I forgot about that. Been a while since I played against Mayhem Devil. Which means what? I should have upticked before casting Day of Judgment, I guess? Yeah, because that would have saved me an additional 3 life. Still, I'm not even sure if I actually dislike them having spent all that treasure. That might just still be okay with me. Okay, well, that's not them activating Hive. Okay. So that means if we find a 6th land, we're sort of happy, which we did succeed at. So all creatures, all graveyards. Means we have no more kitty cats. But we do have to deal with this Den of the Bugbear, which I can cycle a Shark Typhoon for 4, which helps eventually. Okay, well, I can cycle a Shark Typhoon for 4 again. Do I want to cycle Shark Typhoon at sorcery speed? No, because that results in them actually firing up Hive instead of Den, which is a problem. Getting to make the land drop could be useful, but I don't think it ends up being useful enough. So we take 2 down to 5. I could cycle another very big Shark Typhoon to get a double block on Hive of the Eye Tyrant where we don't lose any creatures, but I think getting Yorion into hand and then just double blocking Hive and losing the 2/2 is probably better. Oh, or they don't even do Hive. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to call that definitely better. This attack with no Hive activation to me reads like them trying to get me low enough that... What does this do? Create a treasure token for each non-token creature, and they have no artifacts, so I feel like that's pretty fine for me. So I'm just going to play this Yorion and blink this Omen, and not this Portable Hole. Do I want to play an untapped land? Yeah, because I can hit Divide by 0. Seems like a really good hand. I'm just going to keep both of those on top in the same order, thank you. Those are 2 very convenient cards. I hear Narset and Commit to Memory have synergy. I don't even really want to sack the Omen of the Sea right now, because I actually know that the card that I'm drawing is a card that I like.
There are so many mysteries to uncover. Keep an open mind.
That's a lot of good Magic the Gathering cards. Let's see. I guess Divide by 0's probably not great here. What the heck. We'll take Divide by 0, why not? Oh, I can Divide by 0 my own Yorion? Put it back in hand and then replay it? Oh, think about that. Alright. Do we want to board in Rest in Peace against this list? I guess it's sort of useful against the Witch's Oven Cauldron Familiar thing, which does seem to be something they're reliant on. I mean, I'm definitely boarding in Lyra and Baneslayer. I suppose Shark Typhoon's probably not stellar here, at least not compared to the Angels. Do I have anything that I would want more Rest in Pieces instead of? Commit probably is worse than another Rest in Peace. Is Divide bad? I don't know. Are you playing Demonic Pact because you think it's a useful addition to the deck or because it's cool? I'm playing Demonic Pact because I think Demonic Pact is a powerful card that is worth doing homework on to figure out if it is playable at all times. I've definitely played Demonic Pact in Modern and thought that that was worthwhile, but admittedly I got to play Esper Charm there. Don't think I want to exile something to march this squirrel. Yeah, Cauldron Familiar, Witch's Oven. That's a combo. That's certainly a combo. Am I okay with my opponent spending 3 mana to sack the squirrel and draw a card on their next turn? I suspect I probably am. Oni Cult Anvil. Is that worth Jwari Disruptioning to me? It's certainly an engine even through Rest in Peace that might otherwise be a problem. I do take a lot of damage from the squirrel this turn. I think I'm probably supposed to counter that, but I'm really not 100% certain of this. Another oven. That's painful. I suppose I'm lucky that they didn't play that land before their anvil. Alright, so squirrel comes down. Ooh, Demonic Pact, but I lack a second black source. Alright, so I do get to kill the squirrel here. Do I have to exile Wandering Emperor so that I can get Rest in Peace down this turn? I take 7, or I take 1, go to 7, take 1, go to 6. If I had a second black source and was able to just play Demonic Pact, I would super happily exile my Wandering Emperor. As it stands, I don't know if I can afford to. I think I have to, though. I think I have to do this. I think I'm taking too much damage otherwise. There's the land I didn't want to... Oh, okay. Well, we could just draw Wandering Emperor. That works. That works quite well. There's the land. Here's the den activation. So I could downtick Wandering Emperor on the den. They just fizzle it with Witch's Oven. So I'm better off just downticking to make a 2/2. Which then raises the question of what am I supposed to block? I actually made this potentially a little easy. I guess I was supposed to not give them the option to do this and play the Wandering Emperor after the trigger. But I could block the Cauldron Familiar, go to 3. Block the 1/1, go to 2. 2 is dangerous with the possibility of Mayhem Devil, though. Yeah, alright. Then I did mess up. Letting them do 1 damage to the Wandering Emperor is not what I wanted to have happen. Alright. We downtick the Emperor. We play our land. We play Yorion. I think that was pretty likely to have been a major misplay as well. I don't believe I want to play Yorion this turn. I think I would rather draw a card. Farewell is interesting. Soul Guide Lantern, they get to cycle to draw a card, sure. I'm not entirely certain why that's still in their deck. It might just not have something to replace it with, I guess. So I could Farewell to clear out the Witch's Ovens and the board. I don't believe I'm supposed to do that. I think... Am I supposed to Yorion to increase the clock? Mayhem Devil is currently 4 damage. But they don't have the mana to do that immediately, so if they Mayhem Devil, then I Farewell. I could just Farewell for not creatures next turn, just take out the Witch's Oven to make Mayhem Devil weaker. I think the fact that I can do that makes me want to play Yorion for the additional clock. Finding the Old Gods is pretty awkward. Oh, but they hit the Rest in Peace. So I didn't really care about that anyway. And we're actually going to get rid of the Binding of the Old Gods with the Farewell here. Oh, right, but there's no Rest in Peace in play. So I was supposed to Farewell exiling artifacts first. I messed that up. Oh well, this has Vigilance, and I actually kind of want them to block with the 1/1 and trade with the 2/2. Yeah, they elect not to. Alright, exile, artifacts, enchantments, graveyards. So I do take a lot of extra damage here. Do I play out this Jwari Disruption as a land? I'm currently dead to Cauldron Familiar top deck, which isn't great, and I gained a ton of life there. The fact that I didn't get to do 2 damage here is a problem. The fact that I can't play this Demonic Pact is also a huge problem, because gaining 4 life right now would be incredibly valuable. Okay, Portable Hole, not embarrassing. Hitting Cauldron Familiar is probably incorrect. It's stronger against them top-decking the 4th copy of Witch's Oven, but it's weaker against them top-decking a Binding or anything else that blows up an artifact. I think I'm supposed to hit the Goblin. Cauldron Familiar number, the second one hurts. I would really love to draw an untapped black source. Oh, I should have attacked with the Samurai token. Forgot that was allowed. Because it has Vigilance. So this is pretty interesting. I can attack with both of them, put my opponent to probably 4, maybe 6, then bounce Yorion, replay Yorion, Portable Hole the Cauldron Familiar? Would I even bother Portable Holing the Cauldron Familiar? I'm dead to Binding either way. Bouncing the Portable Hole means I'm not dead to a removal spell that hits one of my creatures? Wait, can Binding... Right, so Binding kills me either way. I guess Fatal Push doesn't kill me if I blink Portable Hole? They're not likely to have Fatal Push? I'm really uncertain on whether this is correct to blink or not here. Binding kinetic creatures, would it have been better to just leave Hall the Storm Giants up? Maybe? No, because Hall of the Storm Giants still leaves us dead to Binding because it can just hit the 2/2. So it doesn't play around that. I don't necessarily know if, like, blinking the Yorion was better than playing Hall, though. Removing the cat gives them less sack fodder. I guess that's true, in the sense that, like, if they rattle off multiple Deadly Disputes, although they can always just use the treasure to Deadly Dispute, but it gives them less mana to work with to top deck into something. So I guess the biggest difference there is if I had correctly attacked with the 2/2 on that earlier turn, they would have been at 2 here instead of 4. Which wouldn't have mattered because I attacked with this 2/2 this turn anyway. Okay. Does this indicate the mana base is sketchy? I don't know. I guess let's double check that. Alrighty. Yeah, not released quite yet, but certainly something I'm excited about. So this is a hand that doesn't do anything, so we're going to keep 7 and then draw good lands. Thoughtseize is unfortunate because that does get to take our land. Maybe the opponent forgets that they can do that and takes something that isn't Jwari Disruption? Don't have her over Jwari Disruption, opponent. Yeah, take that rest in peace. No! Alright, never didn't have it. What kind of scrap heap scrounger shenaniganry is afoot? Oh, okay, I'm in trouble. Well. I mean, I certainly can cast March of Otherworldly Light to get rid of this Spawn of Mayhem, but I basically just lose if I do that, so time to find a land drop. Alright. Close enough. Alright, deck. Let's hit that Day of Judgment, untap next turn, one time. Actually, maybe I'm supposed to Wandering Emperor first? Portable Hole, eh? Alright, very well. Spawn of Mayhem, when do you do? Upkeep, huh? I really wish I could Wandering Emperor here. You left up a lot of mana, opponent. What are you going to do with all that mana? I believe I'm supposed to keep the Wandering Emperor over Day of Judgment, but time will tell whether that was a mistake. Will there be an Elden Ring stream later? Probably, although I don't know what time. Night. Land drop. Alright. Well, I imagine I'm probably supposed to cycle Shark Typhoon. Again, we're kind of struggling with that second black source a tiny bit. I sort of suspect our opponent's on mono black plus Coco, but I could not say for certain. I think I'm supposed to not block Knight because I'm actually okay with them pumping here anyway. Hopefully they don't play another of those 4-drop demon thingies. Yeah, that sucks. Kind of wish I had a board wipe instead of Wandering Emperor right about now. Interesting. I can't afford to play Demonic Pact here on account of they would kill me. So that unfortunately requires us to pass. But Knight of the Ebon Legion's a 4-power attacker that I can't block, and Spawn of Mayhem is a 4-power attacker with Trample. So no matter how I block, I am dead unless I interact. I believe that I am okay making this block. If our opponent chump blocks with, or if our opponent pumps the Knight, then I can Wandering Emperor downtick on it. And when they don't pump the Knight, I can Wandering Emperor downtick Wandering Emperor now?
You're just underground.
Murderous Rider the Wandering Emperor, which probably means that I'm no longer supposed to -1 the Wandering Emperor. I'm probably better off -2ing it. Gaining that life.
Done. I guess that's it then.
So I could divide by 0 the spawn. Presumably after the opponent upticks the knight is the best timing for that. If I play Demonic Pact, I die. If I divide by 0 the spawn before combat, I take 1 less damage, and it lets me cast Teachings of the Archaic. Alternatively, I could put Yorion in hand, but that's not very beneficial. I think I'm probably just supposed to do this now. Otawara's 1 mana short of being useful. I'd love if I could Demonic Pact plus Otawara. Oh, just the knight? Oh, okay. I thought they were gonna... Huh. Interesting. So now they put me to 1 and then play spawn. That's gonna be a problem. Yeah, okay, the second knight actually is a huge issue. I can't Demonic Pact plus play Otawara, because Otawara costs 1 too much. Rude. Oh, no, I just die here anyway, because they just don't pump the knight and then attack. Shoot. Well, that really doesn't work well for me at all. Alright, time to see what we can do with bluffing. Bluffing usually doesn't work too well if your opponent doesn't have to do anything to play around the bluffing. All they have to do is decide whether or not they want to activate this knight, and if they decide to activate the knight, I die. They do not decide to activate the knight, so I am live to a top deck board wipe. Okay. I'll take it. This is why you don't concede. Occasionally you don't die. Occasionally your opponent has Rotting Regisaur. That's going to be a problem. Okay, well, I definitely need to kill the knight. Okay, Farewell is interesting. So I could get rid of the Rotting Regisaur and our opponent's graveyard. Does that matter? I could trade Hall with the Rotting Regisaur. I think I prefer trading Hall with the Rotting Regisaur. With our opponent being on 4 mana, I don't think there's a ton of things they can do that punish me for that. Or rather, I don't think there's a ton of ways they can kill Hall. I guess they could have, like, literally Fatal Push, but who plays Fatal Push? More Rotting Regisaurs. Rude. Okay, let's see. I think I'd rather have more cards than them have less cards. Ooh. Okay, well, that's certainly awkward. If I play Yorion, I die to Murderous Rider, which kind of hurts, but I feel like we gotta do what we gotta do. I guess I could just choose to not exile Demonic Pact this turn, can't I? That's actually probably the correct choice. I believe I'm supposed to exile all artifacts to get this portable hole off the battlefield. It's just 1 less vulnerability. I think I'm supposed to hold up Jwari Disruption here. There's a possibility it could be useful. Alright. Well, opponent discards 2 cards. Ooh, Farewell is a cool draw. And now we get to Yorion the Demonic Pact, and I believe we have won. I'm going to hold on to the Godless Shrine because I don't know what kind of hand hate our opponent could be playing. And if they have any kind of, like, make me discard 2 spell, oh, okay, they can get rid of Farewell. That's a problem. That wasn't the kind of hand hate I was playing around, but what you gonna do? Hypothetically, do I want to draw 2 sooner rather than later? I believe so. Hey, cool, Teferi's a good card. And Otawara is resistant to hand hate. Love to see it. Okay. Let's see then. How about I go to combat and attack with Yorion. And then play this tapped. And then cycle a 6/6 Shark to block the Murderous Rider. Opponent goes to 10 and then dies. That should end the game. How come it exiles both the hole and the creature? So specifically that's because cards resolve in the order that they're printed. And because... let's pull this up. Because Portable Hole has a very specific wording, the creature returning does not require a priority pass because it doesn't put a trigger on the stack. So Portable Hole creates an effect that is tied to when Portable Hole leaves the battlefield, the creature that was exiled by it immediately comes back into play. No priority, no trigger, no nothing. Instantly. Even in the middle of another card, like Farewell. Other cards like Skyclave Apparition or Oblivion Ring will create 2 separate effects. One trigger to exile the card, and then 1 separate line of text to return the card. That would not work with that Farewell trick. I believe I'm probably supposed to bring over these 2 big angels. And then I think we're just shipping it. Oh, I'm probably not supposed to have Rest in Peace in the board, or in the deck post-board, actually. That's probably just more correct. Howdy, Alex. I'm doing pretty well. This hand's pretty terrible. Let's keep and see what happens. Alright, Demonic Pact. We do still need a second black source, as is tradition. Thoughtseize, presumably going to get rid of March of Otherworldly Light, because that's the only card we have that actually does anything at the moment. Oh, don't worry, the hand will get solved. We still get to draw cards, so, like, everything will turn out fine. They get rid of the card that does something. That was sort of what I was expecting. How does this deck work? So basically it's like blue-white control, and does blue-white control stuff, except we cut some of the foros and play Demonic Pact instead, which is theoretically a change that does something. I mean, Demonic Pact does a lot of cool things. Some of them are even good. Thoughtseize. I think this actually takes Divide by 0, even though they only have a 1-drop in hand, or in play. It's just like the only card that does... Okay, our opponent having an Outland Liberator is kind of dumb. Sort of hate that, but okay. Some combo to gift it away? Nope, it just is a good card. Well, now we need to top deck a 4-mana board wipe. That's not helpful. So we're going to go down to... How much is math? 3? 3 is not very good, so I guess I'm shocking. And then bouncing something? I would like my opponent to activate this Knight of the Ebon Legion. They have not chosen to do so. So I guess I'll bounce Trap Breaker now. If they choose to activate the Knight of the Ebon Legion, they can't replay the Trap Breaker. Can this still sacrifice on the backside? It can. Okay, they choose not to activate the Knight, which means the Knight doesn't get pumped. They replay Liberator. And we draw a tap land. So if I play this land, they have full information about my hand, which means I die. So I think I just die. Not successful. Alright, so this time around, let's cut the rest in pieces. And I guess keep the Shark Typhoons in. Part of me, like, almost wants to bring in the Malevolent Hermit, even though that's terrible. So we're not going to do that because that would be bad. Alrighty, take the play. This is a keepable pile of Magic cards. Some of them even get played on curve. Now, most likely the opponent's going to fire off a turn 1 Thoughtseize. No, they go with turn 1 Knight. Okay, I can handle that. Oh, Frenzied Trapbreaker is going to absolutely brutalize my Portable Hole game plan, isn't it? Yuck. Okay, I like my opponent doing nothing. I can sort of handle my opponent doing nothing. Painful Bond, draw 2 cards. Yuck. Am I supposed to divide by 0 that? Them having 2 cards isn't good. I don't think stopping them from casting Painful Bond here is correct. I think I'm probably supposed to try to... Okay, yeah, so if they choose to do nothing... Ugh, Thoughtseize kind of sucks. Yeah, the problem is if they choose to do nothing. Or Thoughtseize, which both make me wish that I had Divide by 0'd the Painful Bond. If they did nothing, I could cycle Shark Typhoon was going to be fine, but now that they Thoughtseize me, if I divide by 0 the Thoughtseize, they just recast the Thoughtseize, and then still take my Environmental Sciences. I guess if they take Environmental Sciences, then I can cycle Shark Typhoon and try to hit the land drop that way? Yeah, probably. I think that's better than Shark Typhoon. Forcing them to use this much mana and only have 1 left over limits what kind of things they can cast here. I guess they could have 2 hand hate spells, actually. Then this sort of sucks. Oh, no, they just go for Scrap Heap Scrounger. Sweet! Alright, I can most certainly live with that. So they're gonna Thoughtseize me next turn. Alright. I think I have to live with that. I imagine that takes Baneslayer Angel, but there's the possibility that it doesn't. Best case scenario, they miss the land drop and just play... No, they don't. Do I cycle Shark Typhoon for 0? No, I don't believe so. So if they don't take Baneslayer Angel, the likelihood is pretty high that they have a Murderous Rider or a Noxious Grasp. If they do take Baneslayer, I probably just play Teferi down tick on Scrap Heap, depending on what they do with the rest of their turn. Second Thoughtseize kind of blows. Okay, I like seeing my opponent continue to make land drops. Do I want to give them information? I think so. Holding Otawara makes other land draws better. Do I put Yorion in hand and rely on Yorion to block the Scrap Heap Scrounger? Hardcasting Shark Typhoon isn't very valuable in this matchup, but cycling it for 4 against the Scrap Heap Scrounger is decidedly better than cycling it for 3. Alright, I think I'm probably just supposed to put Yorion in hand. Ugh. Painful Bond is extremely hard to beat. That is a good card. It's kind of rude that my opponent's aggro deck has better card draw at instant speed than I do. Outland Liberator. Okay. That doesn't matter a ton yet if I Day of Judgment it. I do like my opponent continuing to make land drops. Okay, Omen of the Sea is pretty decent. So if I Day of Judgment, they bring Scrap Heap Scrounger back. If I Omen of the Sea before Day of Judgment, then the opponent blows up Omen of the Sea and brings Scrap Heap back, so that's no good. If I pass and cycle Shark Typhoon, they blow up Portable Hole, which I guess doesn't matter too much if I then Day of Judgment. I hate this, but I think I just have to Day of Judgment here. Mostly I'm just Day of Judgmenting the Outland Liberator, and I suppose I'm tying up 2 of their mana, which stops them from Painful Bonding at the end of my turn if they have that. I would like to draw Farewell, I think. Jeez. Do I even want to Omen of the Sea here? I don't think so. I think I'm happier with them taking Omen of the Sea with Thoughtseize than them taking Yorion in this position, or with them taking Shark Typhoon. And if they don't take Omen of the Sea, then I get 4 looks at a good card that they don't have the option of Thoughtseizing. Endless Jake, thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. Crazy Gorlem, thank you for the follow too. Glad you're also enjoying the stream. I suspect they're supposed to take Omen of the Sea here. Yeah, they come to the same conclusion. Luckily for me, if they have Go Blank, I do not think they spend that much time figuring it out a choice out. So what, they've used 3 Thoughtseizes? Rotting Regisaur. Ew. That's gonna make my life hard. March of Otherworldly Light for 4 gets rid of Regisaur, I suppose. Alternatively, I can chump block with Shark Typhoon. Is that what I want to do with my life? I think I'm just exiling the Regisaur. Keeping it in play longer to make them discard cards is tempting, but I think they're probably just holding lands. Or at least they're probably holding at least 1 more land to discard to Regisaurus. Phyrexian Obliterator. There's a magic card for you. Okay. Good time to draw Farewell. Narset. Okay. Well, I can block Knight and go to 2. So I think I'm supposed to try to find a board wipe. Well, find more Shark Typhoons, I guess. That gives me something that I can cycle to find another 4-mana board wipe. I am currently dead to a removal spell for a Shark Typhoon token that costs 2 or less mana, which isn't Noxious Grasp. If they don't throw anything at the Narset, then I get to dig deeper for a board wipe, so they're sort of incentivized to deal with that. So they don't have a removal spell. Farewell. Okay, so I block Scrap Heap Scrounger. They do more damage by pumping the Knight and put me to 6. But if I block the Knight... But the problem with blocking Scrap Heap Scrounger is twofold. I take more... Oh, wait, no, I want to block Knight. I want them to have more mana available to play more cards out into Farewell. And I want to take less damage. So I'm actually just 100% incentivized to block the Knight.
I still have much to learn.
You should play more cards to the board and not draw another hand hate spell opponent. How many Thoughtseizes have they used? 3? Well, the good news is it's not terribly likely they find another Thoughtseize. Or we could have just drawn another Farewell. That works too. Okay, exile all artifacts, creatures, enchantments, and graveyards. Please, thank you. Conveniently, the Obliterator is gone in a way that does not require me to sack a bunch of permanents. Go blank. That's tough. Huh. Would I rather keep Shark Typhoon or Farewell? I'm assuming I'm supposed to keep Shark Typhoon in this position. Farewell makes Demonic Pact into a much better draw, but I think I just need the card advantage of Shark Typhoon right now. For that reason, we will not be hardcasting it. Spawn of Mayhem is pretty big. I would love to get to bounce Spawn of Mayhem to their hand. Portable Hole doesn't help with that. Day of Judgment also doesn't help with that. Fateful Absence is pretty rough because it gets to draw them a card immediately, but considering that we are putting them to 4 life right now, I'm sort of okay with that. Alright, on the aggro deck. We've got one Portable Hole that doesn't really remove any blockers that fly anyway. No! Alright, well my opponent's at 2. They can no longer play more Murderous Riders as Swift-ins. Oh, wow, Rankle is a disgustingly good draw. Alright, I lose Portable Hole. Oh, Demonic Pact, you're so close to good. But Rankle can do 4 damage, so I cannot play Demonic Pact there. Opponent plays Murderous Rider. No! If they bricked on that draw step, we were going to kill him with Demonic Pact. I needed them to have 1 bad draw. Well, I guess 2 bad draws because I needed them to also not draw a second Rankle. How very, very close. So we take the play, and we keep a hand that has castable cards. I assume I'm supposed to prioritize casting Rest in Peace on 2, just because a large percentage of the time we play against Phoenix. Nope. Alright, well, looks like pretty good odds that I get my Rest in Peace taken from me. Oh, well, they took Demonic Pact. Okay, I think I can live with that. Well, let's go ahead and play a Rest in Peace then. We'll find out later whether that's actually useful against the opponent's deck or not. Last game, if you had hardcast Shark Typhoon, would you have won? Almost certainly not. We never drew anything that would have actually made tokens with Shark Typhoon. Board wipes and Shark Typhoon do not have the biggest synergy. Okay, I enjoy my opponent doing nothing. Don't really think I need more lands right now. Or well, alright. Wandering Emperor, but no additional white source is interesting. Would I rather Shark Typhoon to try to find a 5th land, or just put Yorion in hand so that when I do draw a 5th land, it's just automatically good? I think I'm supposed to cycle Shark Typhoon here, but we shall see. Shatterskull Smashing. I guess this is probably Big Rakdos. I don't know whether it's playing Arcanist or not, though. Kolaghan's Command? Yeah, I don't hate that. I'm okay with getting rid of Farewell since I actually have Omen of the Sea in play already anyway. And Rest in Peace. More Wandering Emperors. Alright, well. Well, this is kind of cute. I can divide by 0 Omen of the Sea. If my opponent continues doing nothing, which it looks like they are going to do. Hive of the Eye Tyrant is not a card I care about. Alright, I'm down to 17. I would like to divide by 0 my Omen of the Sea. I would like to get Environmental Sciences. I bet I'm going to get a white source here. Alright, well, if my opponent wants to try to kill my Wandering Emperor, they're in for a tough time. And this time they fire up Den. Okay. We're going to Omen of the Sea in case we hit a white march, so that we can kill this Den. Do I want lands even at this point? Weirdly enough, I don't think I do. We hit a white march, because I'm extremely talented at being lucky. Alright, and we will continue passing the turn, because our hand is full of good cards. Then we are going to get rid of that there, Hive of the Eye Tyrant, and then the opponent's probably going to concede at this point. No? Okay. Kudos to the opponent. Let's see. Yeah, we'll go ahead and uptick this one. And then put this Yorion in hand. And then I think I'm comfortable just passing, holding up Jwari Disruption. Botsies. Oh no. They take the Yorion? Alright, well. Now we will work through how to deal with these Wandering Emperors, I suppose. What did we get rid of? Fatal Push? Why would you get rid of Fatal Push? I guess if they have multiple Fatal Pushes, actually is probably a reason.
Keep watch for intruders.
Does Farewell give me an incentive to play out this Jwari Disruption? Nah, probably not. Alright, well, I'm willing to trade with that Harvester. I mean, the Jwari Disruption is probably not going to accomplish too much in a position where it is known. But, like, it's not going to accomplish nothing either. Still forces my opponent to play around it. And definitely don't want lands. Teferi. Well, that's an interesting magic card. So what have we upticked Wandering Emperor, and then played Teferi, and then upticked Teferi. I mean, I guess could downtick Teferi on Graveyard Trespasser. Would that be better? Yeah, that's probably better. Then upticking Teferi and Fateful Absencing it. And hey, look at this, we actually wound up with a use for this Jwari Disruption after all. Okay, Graveyard Trespasser gone. Now, does the opponent play a creature with haste? Is that where that's going? Bedevil my Teferi. Harsh, but fair. Demonic Pact, but somehow I still don't have the mana to do that. That's seeming to be a very common trend. I really thought my mana base was better than this. Maybe it's just variance. Who could say? Takanuma. Opponent's going to be extremely disappointed by how that works with a Rest in Peace in play. We've all been there. Pay 4 mana, mill your creature, you know that it's on top. Oh. Alright, what am I supposed to board against them? This is true. We did scry a lot of black sources to the bottom. This is true. Maybe I'm supposed to cut some blue-white lands for some not blue-white lands, even though that's, like, wrong. I mean, I could probably cut a Hallowed Fountain for a Godless Shrine. I mean, big angels are kind of cool, but the opponent can probably kill them. Rest in Peace is probably kind of cool. Like, kind of cool. I guess I could, like, trim Divide by Zero, maybe? Is that, like, fine? Put in angels instead? I don't know, that seems bad. Whatever, I'll do it. We only have one black card. I mean, technically we have 4 of a black card that's double black, so that's kind of like having 8 black cards. I mean, we could put in other black cards. The trouble is that black cards don't tend to have a lot of ways to answer Demonic Pact, so, like, why would we play those? Feel like Esprit Yorion with Painful Truth might be better than Pacting People. It seems like that would draw into a lot of cards that hurt you, though. I mean, the deck has a lot of 4-drops, even without Demonic Pact. Excited for the Esper Triumph? I do expect that will help this mana base immensely, yes. Board in Rest in Peace. So the trouble with these big Rakdos lists is they get so card advantage intense that it can be tricky to board in too many copies of Rest in Peace against them. Because just drawing multiple copies of Rest in Peace can lose you the card advantage war really hard. What's the official name of the new Tri-lands? I don't think they have a unifying name. Like, they don't use the word Triome. And it's like, what, Xander's Lounge? That's the only name I remember. Tricycle's probably what they're actually going to get called. Although, I guess Tri-land is kind of somewhat ubiquitous. We're not going to keep this hand. Well, if it wasn't for the fact that I know if I keep this hand, the Omen of the Sea is going to get hit by a hand hate spell, I would keep it. But what if I wasn't a coward, though? Oh. But what if I wasn't a coward, though? What if we just drew the right cards? What's the worst that could happen? Really now. All we gotta do is draw, like, one land, and it's probably fine as long as they don't have too many Thoughtseizes. On the other hand, we might actually just win by making this keep regardless. If the opponent disconnects here, there's no way to prove that I made a mistake, right? So we just have to default to, I guess this was right? Never punished. And I didn't even have to mulligan for what I think would have been the first time this stream. Hey, Junkie Dosed. Thanks for the sub. I greatly appreciate the support. Alright, we're allowed to keep this, right? It's got Divide by Zero. That's a 3-drop. Oh, lands, and one of them even makes black mana. You love to see it. Okay. What's this do-nothing plan you're up to, opponent? Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Oh no. I'm probably supposed to march that, I think? Probably. Alright, our mana is fixed and ready to go. Is Hallowed Fountain the best land? Best card, even? Probably not. I gotta imagine Irrigated Farmland takes that award on account of actually being able to draw cards with it. So if I draw a card, play a land at 5, I cannot Teachings next turn, which is disappointing. So I guess we'll just take this land drop instead. Strike it rich. What sort of strange treasury stuff is our opponent up to? Huh. Oh, this is Indomitable Creativity, isn't it? Oh, Fable of the Mirrorbreaker is a cool card to get in that deck. Huh. Alright, I probably can't really beat this. Was March right with Hole in Hand? Now knowing what my opponent's on, no, it was not. But I cared about not having to Portable Hole on turn 3 because it let me hold up Divide by 0. Whereas marching there let me hold up Divide by 0. Okay, so the opponent Narsets.
Mind and body should move in you. Hone your prowess.
Okay, Expressive Iteration isn't an immediate horrific concern. I mean, I guess Farewell is nice in the sense that if our opponent is on the Angels version, it's a good answer, but
You could use some training.
if our opponent is on the Sage of the Falls version, we are in trouble. We're going to represent Archmage's Charm, which happens to be a card that is not in our deck, but the opponent doesn't know that. They're definitely an Indomitable Creativity deck, I just don't know what win con they're on. There's a lot of different win cons you can play in Is It? Which is to say there's like 2. I should have been holding priority. That was bad. I did not realize none of my cards were capable of doing anything at instant speed. Alright, well, unfortunately, we are currently not actually capable of accomplishing anything. Which does make matters a little bit complicated. Valakut Awakening means that they are on the Sage of the Falls version of the combo, I believe. Which is bad, because that's the version that I can't interact with currently. They kept one card in hand, which may or may not have been that hard evidence. I'm probably supposed to Farewell to get all of this stuff off their board. It's possible I was supposed to do that last turn, actually. Alright, let's go with everything? I think everything is the best that I can do. So I get to crack a clue and draw a card, but then they have no more tokens. Oh, I could have chosen not to exile creatures, and then Portable Hold the Crab, and still had my 2/2. That was probably a mistake. Or, well, I guess now I have more Portable Holes for more crabs. But if they just have creativity, then they're probably on the Sage version, which means the game is over. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this, they make a 1/1 with haste, they draw a card, they make a 1/1 with haste, they draw a card. Sage of the Falls, anytime a creature enters the battlefield, they can choose to draw a card. Locust God, whenever they draw a card, they make a hasty one, which does lethal damage to us. Okay, this is going to be hard. I'm going to play Dispute, Veto, Hermits, Rest in Pieces do nothing, Portable Holes do nothing. March of the Otherworldly Light actually does something, but I did not know what deck they were on, so I did not correctly save it last game. Wrath of God and Day of Judgments don't do very much. Is it worth bringing in Angels to have a win con? I'm assuming that they probably board into Nezahals, and having a clock against that is probably helpful. I think my lack of counterspells means that I'm poorly positioned and have to get aggressive. Yeah, Reflection is very, very worthwhile in the opponent's list. Makes a lot of tokens, ramps them, adds consistency. Have I tried Fragment Reality with Demonic Pact? Does Fragment Reality hit? Oh, it does. Well, now that's interesting. I wonder what creature you could play that would actually be useful to hit at 3 or less CMC. I have not tried that yet. Alright, well, we'll keep this. I don't believe there's any reason I'd need to leave up Dovin's Veto on 2 here. I don't think I need to counter the Heart of Evidence, although we are informing the opponent that we have something to interact with them. I don't think I can afford to put Yorion in hand here because it would give the opponent the opportunity to play Expressive Iteration, and I think I'm supposed to avoid that. Would also give them the opponent the opportunity to play Narset, which I really would rather them not do, but I do want them to continue to spend a bunch of mana on Narset. Yorion does not have synergies with Teachings of the Archaic, does it? That's awkward. Could I have Teachings here to draw? Yes. Which does give them the option to resolve Narset if they have an untapped blue source and a Mystical Dispute, but I think I'm probably just supposed to be okay with that. Brawl is sort of interesting. Yeah, we're just willing to Mystical Dispute Expressive Iteration in the interest of denying our opponent possible land drops. No success. Oh well. We get to shock, put Yorion in hand, hold up Veto for the Narset. If they don't jam the Narset, we get to Omen of the Sea. Do I have to veto Narset? Probably. That leaves me really light on counterspells, but I don't think I can let them get off 2 Narsets. Reversal. Okay, well. That does result in them having a Narset, but at not particularly card advantage-y rates. So, I guess I'm okay with that. It's also just a reversal that I don't have to deal with now. I think we play out the Irrigated Farmland. I'm going to be pretty limited on when I'm ever going to be able to cycle it in the future anyway.
Meditate and prepare.
Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Am I okay with that? Let's find out. Well, I don't want Omen, but I probably want Wandering Emperor. I don't believe that I want to Dovin's Veto that. There's no point in Yorion right now. I could choose to Baneslayer Angel. Baneslayer is somewhat tempting with Dovin's Veto in hand. 3, 2... If they have another reversal, they can combo me off post-combat. If they have another reversal and a land drop, they can combo me off pre-combat if I play Baneslayer. Huh. Alright, I guess we probably pass then. Was an Omen great? We couldn't play Omen because there's an Narset in play. And we'd already drawn one card with Omen of the Sea. I believe I'm okay trading a token with this here. Leaving up mana doesn't stop the combo? How so? Or what do you mean by that? Since you're countering a sorcery, they reversal the creativity and not the veto. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Although in this case, Otawara does stop the combo. If I leave up enough mana for that.
We must protect.
Or at least it interrupts the combo. If they go for the one-hit kill combo. If they go for like a Nezahal, well, then I got farewell for that, I guess. Playing Yorion when I can't actually get a benefit out of the Omen of the Sea kind of stings, but I think I need to play Yorion over Baneslayer Angel because it lets me hold up Otawara? I guess maybe holding up Otawara doesn't matter. Mystical Dispute. Okay. I'll decline. Alright, so now I just need them to not be able to combo off through Dovin's Veto then. Or at least I need them to abort it into a way that gets wrecked by Farewell. That's a bad sign. Okay, so they just have another one then, which kind of incentivizes me to use Farewell. But what if they kept in the one-hit kill combo that gets interrupted by Otawara? Would that be better? Okay, more Narset. I can live with that. They might have just been trying to push their way through the veto because they might only have one reversal then? Fry. Well, don't love that. I believe I'm probably supposed to uptick on this creature to get it through the blockers rather than down-ticking the Wandering Emperor to make 2 tokens. Alright, and I can play the Baneslayer Angel, which they can fry, but then I still have my Wandering Emperor. We have Otawara up to interrupt the opponent's combo if they go for that. Although playing out the Baneslayer Angel was probably bad if the objective was to try to fight... Oh, they can't combo. They don't have a second piece. Alright, we're fine then. Okay, I think we cycle Irrigated Farmland here since there's an Narset in play. Drawing a land kinda bites. 3, 4, 2, 3... So I can get kind of cute here about how I play around Fry. 1, 2, 3. They can only get Blast Zone up to 4. So if I uptick Wandering Emperor on Baneslayer Angel, I have the option to divide by 0 my Wandering Emperor and then play the Wandering Emperor. That doesn't give me enough to Otawara. But I think that's the most likely way that I actually wind up with a clock that's actually fast enough. I should have shocked in the land before this. Fry is 5 damage, right? That's a painful commit. Jump block to save the Narset. I'm actually totally okay with that, because the Narset isn't really inconveniencing me at all at the moment. Oh, well, that's actually not true, because they have a memory in the graveyard now. Fair. That's a moderate inconvenience, actually. I don't know if I had a way to beat that was a reasonable line of play. I could have held the Divide, but I think that was just wrong. Okay. We attract the Omen of the Sea. Teferi, Shark Typhoon is a good series of draws. Kill Narset. Attempt to kill Narset. Okay. Get the opponent to waste a Fry. I don't believe down-ticking Teferi on the Narset is the correct line, which I think means that I just uptick Teferi. Get the loyalty ticking towards 8. Well, now we need the opponent to whiff on a number of draw steps. What's my preferred style of French fry? I suppose like a sweet potato fry that's been coated in like some sort of sweet chai sauce. I'm not a very big fan of French fries. I don't really love the taste of oil very much. Not a very big fan of popcorn either for the same reason. Alright. 5, 9. Okay, so we currently have a 2-turn clock with Shark Typhoon at face if the opponent doesn't happen to find an anything. Okay, Farewell gets rid of artifacts, which might be useful, maybe? No answer to the shark. Okay. They're going to get to Blast Zone Teferi before it's relevant, but I guess I'm supposed to force them to do that?
Let's skip to the good.
Wasn't hitting the Narset here better? Nah, because we got a 2-turn clock in the air, and I want to try to force them to have an answer to the 2-turn clock in the air. I don't suspect that I'm super likely to win this game in the long run through card advantage, especially when my Teferi's about to die to this Blast Zone anyway. Basically, I would rather do 9 damage to the opponent than draw 1 card. Was tucking the Narset better? No, because that lets them redraw into the Narset. Which I also definitely don't want to let them do. I'm trying to decide if I'm supposed to Farewell these tokens. Makes it slightly harder for them to combo off and kill me. I think that might be better. It's not about removing the mana. It's about removing their access to a second target for Indomitable Creativity. Because they need to target 2 things with creativity to kill me. Odds are they probably boarded out the creativity combo against me anyway, but I think this is how I'm supposed to play it safe. You do not get to change the modes on Farewell when you Narset's Reversal it, though. So I am happy about that. What are they using creativity to push out? The threat is that they left in Locust God and Sage of the Falls, which just combos and kills me. Actually, more free than free, because it cost the opponent a card that was actually relevant and good. Alright, so they blast zone and get rid of Teferi.
That didn't go according.
Does that mean they have an answer to the 9/9? They do have an answer to the 9/9. My Hermit! Okay, well this is interesting. So I get to Hermit, swing at Narset. Then we get to Farewell Exiling Creatures, because our opponent was kind enough to put that back in our hand, which means they don't have a Locust God. And then I just get to put a 2/2 into play? Curious how these things work. It's a very strange world we live in. I think I'm actually just going for my opponent's face with my beautiful little Geist friend here. The Narset's not really hurting me much. So they can win with just regular creature beatdown.
Own your prowess.
And they probably have sharks. It would be very strange for their deck to not include sharks. Although I guess maybe they needed to cut something for the whatchamacallums? Fable of the Mirror Breakers? I think I'm probably supposed to deny them a Narset activation,
Wait a moment.
rather than do 2 damage to their face. No! Just assuming there's no chance of a 2/5 attacking 7 times. Oh, prepare to be extremely disappointed by that assumption. Ugh. Alright. That's probably me dead. I don't believe that I can beat Memory Deluge. That might be capable of beating Memory Deluge if the opponent doesn't have any Shark Typhoons. What's your answer to this, opponent, with me having a bunch of mana? Casting a Memory Deluge. Okay. And then both of the Memory Deluges that were in the graveyard are just exiled because the opponent didn't want to bother casting them, I guess? Okay, now to be fair, this 2/2 is a way they could win the game still. I will need to find more answers to that. Also, that 2/2 is also an answer. Alright, but Wandering Emperor is pretty good. They didn't want to discard a single card in their hand? For real? That's horrifying. You can't reversal a Wandering Emperor. So what else do you got? Pact of Negation. Okay. Well, I'm back to being in trouble again. Okay. The pile of Mystical Disputes and Jwari Disruptions are not very good right now. I do need to find another board wipe. 3/3. Oh, you're telling me the opponent has enough mana to pay for all 3 of my counter spells. Can I draw another Farewell? Do I have more Farewells in the deck? I do have 1 more Farewell in the deck that I could draw into here. But, unfortunately, instead of that, we are dead. Wow. 6 real cards, huh? The opponent drew like 14 more cards than us. And they still didn't flood as badly as us. That feels bad. Ouch. Alright, I'm gonna go use the restroom, and then we'll be back in a bit. Well, I assume that I'm supposed to keep a hand that can play Rest in Peace on turn 2 and just hope to cheese the victory. World Tree, huh? World Tree plus Zolfrin Void, huh? Which means our opponent's on a not Gonti, Golos deck. And World Tree is supposed to be something that they snag with Golos. Got it. Alright, well, I'm definitely gonna just remove that Guardian Idol. Don't see why I should let my opponent have mana ramp. I don't think going 4-color for Knight of Autumn is the correct answer this time. Certainly, possibly, sometime. Maze Mind Tome. That does not seem like a card I should let them have in play. Can I Teachings of the Archaic here? Probably not. I'm probably just supposed to get Environmental Sciences to hit my 5th land for Teferi. Well, we pretty much have enough of every color of mana. It's funny that when our mana base is functional is when we don't draw Demonic Pact. I think the best creature for Fragment Reality is Goodest Girl, also works well with Yorion. I'm not entirely sure what card that's supposed to mean is the trouble here. Because I don't think that I'm allowed to play Captain Landry? Spirited Companion? I don't think that that's tempo positive enough for a control deck. Usually I think you need to be doing some kind of busted tribal thing with Elvish Visionaries for them to be worth playing. Because, like, occasionally you're going to draw it naturally, right? I'd like to think there's some 3-mana creature that's just actually desirable to have. It's too bad that Skyclave Apparition can't hit your own stuff, or I would be very excited. Ooh, Demonic Pact. Alright, now we got a plan. Is it a good plan? No. But it is our plan. I don't actually have a good reason to play this Rest in Peace, but it does make my entire hand into cards that can answer Demonic Pact. So, like, that makes me feel happy. The bad news here is that the Mind Rot mode on Demonic Pact does not currently look exceptional. But it looks good enough. Although, to be entirely honest, I'm not sure we can credit Demonic Pact with the majority of that victory. Okay, so no Rest in Peace, Portable Hole is fine, March is fine, Fateful Absence is probably better than Board Wipes. Malevolent Hermit's good, Veto's good. Do I want to bring in Angels to increase the speed of the clock? There's a strong possibility that's correct, but that's not going to make a difference. Ooh, one of Merfolk God in the main deck actually does sound kind of good. And that actually reduces Otawara's cost, which is something that I was debating being useful. That's I'm kind of okay with that. Does the Merfolk God, like, have a ward or something? I forget what it is that makes it, like, sort of decent, but I do recall it being sort of decent in Control Mirrors for some reason. Alright, 4 mana. Mind Stone. Oh no. Mind Stone. Oh no. I feel like I have considerably less mana to work with here than my opponent does. Which is going to make these Divide by Zeros kind of not super impressive. Okay, opponent does nothing. I feel like Omen of the Sea is the most likely way that I get to hit a land drop and still hold up Divide by Zero for the next turn. Well, I do want both of these, even if that does result in me not actually being guaranteed to hit my 5th land. I'm probably just supposed to be okay with that. The trouble is that very few of these games have felt like Demonic Pact has been the difference maker. Most of these games that we win, we are winning by just being a blue-white control deck. And like, maybe this would be better if Divide by Zero was an Archmage's Charm or something. I suppose I'm not entirely certain what I was expecting. So is the opponent just going to play a bunch of ramp cards and then not do anything and then concede? Because that is sort of a somewhat time-honored tradition. More Guardian Idols. Okay. Well, then I'm just going to bounce a Guardian Idol to slow down how fast the opponent does damage to me, I guess, and maybe go get another land drop. Don't even need it. Probably will still take it, though. The idea of holding up Divide by Zero is still somewhat appealing. I guess I could have marched the Guardian Idol. Maybe that was what I was supposed to do rather than Divide by Zero it. No, because I didn't know I was going to make my 5th land drop yet. Right. Heck, we're playing Divide by Zero instead of a standard 3-mana counterspell? Because Divide by Zero can bounce Demonic Pact. You could fragment reality into a Containment Priest. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Demon of Dark Schemes. Now there's a magic card. Wait. Why is that a magic card? I mean, okay. I could Divide by Zero that, but I'm not even convinced I'm actually supposed to care. Alright, well, let's just go ahead and play a Narset then.
If you wish to surrender now, put thoughtfulness before action.
Guess I'll take more Narsets? Huh. I have lost track of what my opponent may or may not be supposed to be doing right now. And I'm kind of just spinning the wheels in my head trying to process why Demon of Dark Schemes exists. Now, mind you, I have played Demon of Dark Schemes at competitive level events, but that was in Aetherworks Marvel, and it was because flashing it in instant speed was a good way to make Gideon Ally of Zendikar very sad. Guess that's just a Golos spin payoff? I mean, like, it could be, but, like, are payoffs that limited? I don't know if that's true. I'm assuming they were probably supposed to leave up Guardian Idol to punch my Narset, but the auto tapper wasn't very helpful to them. Okay, down Tiki the Narset, grab you the Teferi, play the Teferi, uptick the Teferi, play an untapped land. Opponent is incentivized to fire up Guardian Idols to attack the Teferi. We Wandering Emperor, trade with Guardian Idol. Men may be limited based on cards they have and wild cards available. I suppose, but they are Platinum, but it is currently the first of the month, which means that they were in Mythic. And I mean, it's tough to make it to Mythic with your own semi-janky brews. So I'm kind of assuming that, like, there is a plan here. I just do not yet understand the plan. Alright, well, let's make a 2-2. And then we're going to bounce the Kogla after it attacks. Or I guess I could just downtick the Teferi at the Kogla. But then I need to not draw cards. That actually is kind of unacceptable.
Guards, to me.
Not really willing to not draw cards.
Hold that thought.
Alright, I could divide by 0 the Kogla now. That's probably less correct than divide by 0ing it later, though. Even if I would get in 2 damage. Quote about Dog from Joker from Dark Knight. Oh, yeah, okay. I do recall that one. It took me a bit. Mostly because I had to try to remember which movie Dark Knight was. I do not watch a ton of cinema. Far too impatient for it. Alrighty, opponent, what you gonna do? Because if the answer is fire up some Guardian Idols so that you can attack after you kill one of my 2/2s, I would be super thrilled. Because that makes divide by 0 quite a bit better. So let's see, it takes 7 mana for them to replay Kogla. So if they fire up an attack with a Guardian Idol, then they have 6 mana remaining, so without an untapped land, they can't replay the Kogla in that case? Mecha Godzilla. Huh. Okay. Well. Okay. Salvo. Thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the stream. It's got menace, so that's, like, theoretically scary. You want to attack with the Kogla, opponent? Yeah, okay. Oh, I thought Kogla fought on attack. Well, dang. Does this change anything? Makes me retroactively upset at my decision making, but oh well. I think now I'm just gonna Otherworldly light it. You gonna try to give a trample anyway? No? Okay. Well, unfortunately, I just gave up an Omen of the Sea for nothing. Womp womp womp. I find it unlikely that they could kill me here with a whatever the name of that card is that lets them cast infinity cards off the top of their deck. No. It takes 2 things. They would need... A lot of the time, these sort of mana rock decks play Paradox Engine and some Forge that lets them cast colorless spells off the top of their deck, but that does not look like something they are capable of playing with that amount of mana. For some reason, I thought that Forge and other thingy were the same card. Wow, that is a timely farewell. Exile all artifacts, please. Exile all graveyards, please. Uptick Wandering Emperor on a 2/2, go to combat, swing at Karn, swing at face. I didn't really need that farewell, but it is very fun to have. Now I get to uptick Teferi again. Oh, I could have played the tap land there. I didn't need 5 mana. Shoot. The inefficiencies. Golden Guardian. Oh, okay. Huh. Well, okay. You're not gonna let me sit here and ultimate my Teferi opponent? That was mean of them. Portable Holy Dragon's Rage Channeler sounds like something I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know whether I'm supposed to play Jwari Disruption there or not. I'm probably supposed to play Jwari Disruption there. No! Presumably my Teferi! The land drop, for real. Alright, well, unfortunately, opponent, you have been instantly punished. The opponent's plan of doing nothing is fascinating. I would love to have you put Chandra back in your hand, opponent. Let's see, I'm going up to 4 cards, 5 cards, so Teachings would draw 2. I'm probably supposed to just Environmental Sciences and then put Yorion in hand. Can March hit Planeswalkers? No. What a shame. Alright, well, now you're free to resolve your Planeswalker, opponent, and then I can resolve my Teferi and downtick on it. No, the Unholy Heat to downtick on, or to kill my Teferi after downticks.
You wanna go? Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Rude. Untap land?
Today's my lucky
Rude. Harsh and rude and mean. Alright, well, let's go ahead and divide by 0 this Chandra then. So I don't think Teferi downtick when my opponent has a Dragon's Rage Channeler is actually a good idea for me in any meaningful way. The question is whether I divide by 0 the Chandra at the end of turn or at sorcery speed. I'm assuming the answer is probably end of turn. I think. Dividing Chandra and looting for a land doesn't do too much, because I don't need more lands if I've already spent 3 mana on dividing by 0. Yuck. Wow, that Inquisition actually is awful for me. Huh. So that can't actually hit Teferi, but it can hit the divide. Yucky. Now they actually just straight up get to replay the Chandra, and they're probably taking Teachings with this Inquisition. Okay. I assume I'm supposed to get rid of March of Otherworldly Light here. We don't have enough cards in the graveyard to escape the Kroxa. How are they doing on Delirium? Very far away, interestingly. Alright, the fact that I found Wandering Emperor makes me okay with getting rid of Chandra and trading off Teferi. But I was debating upticking Teferi there to play around Unholy Heat. Okay, just a Kroxa. I'm super happy getting rid of Yorion. Do you not have Unholy Heat, opponent? Surely you have Unholy Heat, opponent. They don't have Unholy Heat. That's pretty cool for me. I'm going to play this Rest in Peace, and then the opponent's going to concede. Wow, they didn't. Alright, kudos to them. I don't think their game plan here is to draw more lands than the control deck, if I'm being entirely honest. Yeah, I think we can just play Wandering Emperor and start downticking. Is this the part where they concede?
Keep watch for intruders.
No time for a break.
We must protect the people.
Doot, 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 doot. Make big Sharko. Draw more lands. Okay. Well, that's like hypothetically a problem.
You and I are gonna take. Yup, you're going down.
Oh no, opponent, don't. Oh, I'm sorry, opponent. Like, technically this isn't bad for them, but it feels really bad for them. Okay, Lyra, Baneslayer, Rest in Peace, maybe as a one-of. And then what am I even supposed to cut? Like a board wipe, maybe? Fateful Absences, maybe? Does this hit Planeswalkers? It does. I'm supposed to keep those. I don't even know what I'm supposed to cut. Shark Typhoon, maybe? I don't know. I mean, like, maybe the angels aren't actually that good. I don't know. I mean, they gain life, though. That can be kind of important sometimes. Probably not supposed to board in Rest in Peace. And then, like... I don't know. Let's cut a Shark Typhoon because I can't figure out what I'm doing. Probably just thought seized for deck info before conceding. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Okay, this hand seems functional-ish. I mean, we have Omen of the Sea and Demonic Pact. What more could we want? Is nerfed Divide by Zero good enough for Historic? No. I don't think unnerfed Divide by Zero is good enough for Historic. But it does answer Demonic Pact, so, like... here we are. Should I Rest in Peace instead of Omen of the Sea? Probably not. Legion Warboss? Oh no. Was I supposed to keep removal? Tell you what, actually, who needs Rest in Peace? I would rather kill a Legion Warboss than have a Rest in Peace, if I'm being entirely honest. Oh my. Don't you dare hit me with a hand hate spell, opponent. Okay, just a Chandra. I assume I am okay with that. I do not really want to land right now. Well, I do want to land right now. I still need a 5th land for Yorion. But it is hard to play Yorion Demonic Pact against possible hand hate spells. That is tricky. Well, that's what top decking answers to Demonic Pact is for. And now the opponent needs to rethink their plans. Light March's Solitude at home? Well, it's capable of answering Demonic Pact, at least. That's like something. Sort of. More mana. Legion Warboss. Oh no! Let's go ahead and kill that Warboss, I think. When do you ultimate? 7? That's actually kind of an issue. Oh well. Oh, never mind. Not an issue at all, actually.
It's over when I say it's over.
So I have to put Yorion in hand next turn if I don't find an answer to Demonic Pact? How does this deck give Pact to the opponent? Unfortunately, it does not. Regrettably, not on the menu today. Alright, I think we take this damage because I don't want to expose whatever I get off Shark Typhoon to hand hate. More Chandras. Rough.
I'm the best fire starter there is. Today's my lucky day.
Okay, cool. So we do get to empty their hand of any hand hate spells when we put Yorion in hand. Ooh. No hand hate spells for the opponent. No Dragon's Rage Channeler for the opponent. No Chandra having extra loyalty for the opponent.
Now you're asking for it.
Yorion to hand, hold demonic or hold portable hole for Kroxa? No. Don't hold portable hole for Kroxa. Because we can totally blink. Oh, I forgot I could hit a clue with that. Wow, that's so good. I should absolutely hit a clue with that. Because I can blink this portable hole with Yorion. So then that just kills the Kroxa at that point.
Yup.
That's not a hand-aid spell. There's a Kroxa. That's going to get rid of Demonic Pact. Do not need the Demonic Pact at the current moment. We draw 2 cards. Alright, land drops sorted out. Lyra's cool. Do I want to attack Chandra with this 1/1? Probably that is correct to do.
Now you've done it.
Alright, let's go ahead and blink Omen, Demonic Pact, and Portable Hole. I really love the fact that my opponent had to discard a bunch of... do I even want Omen in the Sea right now? I don't think so. Had to discard a bunch of Kolaghan's commands that otherwise could blow up these portable holes and be an inconvenience. Let's see. So if I block any of these creatures, then Chandra can downtick and kill my Yorion, which is sort of inconvenient. Because I actually do need to kill my opponent before Demonic Pact kills me. No blocks. I'm taking the damage.
This'll be easy.
Land does damage to us. Very well. I would probably prefer to gain some life here. I think...
You will regret this.
Then we go 1 shark at Chandra, Yorion at face. If we can convince the opponent to kill the shark to keep the Chandra around, that's actually a victory for us, I think. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. Well, not Kolaghan's command specifically, because I would have preferred to have used a removal spell that could have gone at the Lyra, but oh well. Unholy Heat, but that doesn't have Delirium. Doesn't have Delirium yet. If they have an instant that they can play in response, they don't. Go blank, huh? Alright, well that puts me down to 1 Shark Typhoon. And gives Dragon's Rage Channeler flying. Harsh. Okay, that blocker actually means... Well, the Shark Typhoon means that I still... Okay, well I could just draw a bunch of removal. Everything's changing faster than I can say it. The Dragon's Rage Channeler blocking actually means that I don't have lethal before Demonic Pact kills me. But Shark Typhoon sort of makes that not true, and having removal also makes that not really true. So let's just kill the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Two attackers in the air. Also, we drew a bunch of answers to Demonic Pact, so like that's cool. You're probably going for an artifact creature. I think that they just had to play their Unholy Heat there regardless. Because they hit it off the Chandra uptick. And they wanted to give the Dragon's Rage Channeler flying. So just casting spells was correct. Doing 2 damage to me was irrelevant. This should be lethal. I mean, from their perspective, it's not lethal yet. But from my perspective, I have a March of Otherworldly Light, so it is lethal. Ooh! That was exciting. Demonic Pact actually was super useful that game. It finally happened. We did damage to stuff, we gained life, we drew cards, we made our opponent discard cards that would have been annoying. We reset it, got whole 6 modes out of it. I feel like that was a victory for Demonic Pact. We can finally chalk one up. Demonic Pact feels best against mid-range decks? Yeah, especially ones that don't just randomly have answers to enchantments. That's where it gets really painful, because for the exact same reasons that we can just incidentally play a bunch of answers to Demonic Pact, blue-white control decks get to just play, like, all those same cards that answered Demonic Pact, except we get 0 of the Demonic Pact modes before that happens. So probably not a deck that actually has, like, merit in the long run. But as far as Demonic Pact decks go, pretty reasonable. No real complaints.